On today's show, the nightmare continues. The LA Clippers look like they were about to right the wrongs of the Laker losses and come out with a commanding win against the Phoenix Suns, and then ended up having our worst loss of the season, blowing a 23-point lead in Phoenix. What does this say about this team? Going to be talking about it all on today's Locked On Clippers.
You are Locked On Clippers, your daily Los Angeles Clippers podcast.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, sir. You were locking in with the Clips. Thank you for making Locked On Clippers the first listen of your day, your team every day. I'm your host, Darian Vaziri, born and raised in LA and in my 20th season as a Clipper fan. Been covering the Clippers for 5 years on my own personal YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, and Locked On Clippers here for 3 years. You can subscribe to both channels on YouTube. Listen to them wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, Locked On Clippers has a daily newsletter. You can sign up for that at lockedondaily.com. And this episode, we're going to be talking about this horrific loss to the Phoenix Suns, 119-117, a Phoenix Suns team that's struggling immensely right now, and they look like they were in disarray. We'll also be talking about another, basically another game of Kawhi watch as we wind down this season and what this loss now does and means for us. But let's begin. It looked like we were going to run away with this, like we were going to bounce back from those Laker losses in commanding fashion, locking up Phoenix, had Kevin Durant and Devin Booker in hell. Zubac was dominating. Kawhi Leonard was looking like Kawhi Leonard. He dunked in traffic and had multiple dunks in the game. And I was like ready to come on this show and on my live last night and be like, Kawhi is back, ladies and gentlemen. Like, this is really happening again. But my parade was rained on. If you're wondering why I'm wearing my hood, it's because it's rainy and cold right now in LA. But it was utterly embarrassing. You're up 95-76 to begin the fourth quarter, and you get outscored 43-22. 43-22 in one quarter, lose 119-117. Ivica Zubac had a tip at the end of the game that could have tied the game after James Harden intentionally missed a free throw. By the way, James Harden missed a free throw before that really could have helped us in that situation in which he didn't have to do that. But what can you say? We can talk about it more. The first 30 seconds of the fourth quarter set a horrible tone. You know, we allowed a KD 3, and then Nico Batum threw a flatline pass across the court that got picked off, and immediately we called timeout. And I tweeted right before the fourth quarter that we got to be careful because KD can get hot, and that's exactly what he did. And when he starts to make shots, sometimes there can be no defense for that. They went on a 13-2 run. Nicholas Batum missed an open three, and he had some good looks at threes. He was 1 for 4 from deep in the game. And of course, all his shots were threes, had 3 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists to go along with a turnover in 17 minutes. And to be honest, I have been advocating for him to get more minutes, but he didn't deserve more than 17 on Tuesday night because he just couldn't hit, and that pass was bad, and he just looked a little old. So maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe I shouldn't be advocating for more Nico minutes. I don't know. Without Derrick Jones Jr., you have Chris Dunn, who's a real, I don't want to say a liability offensively, but he's becoming one at the end of games because he's being left open, and we just need a timely 3 here and there, and he misses every single one. 0 for 5 from 3 in this game, 1 for 6 from the field in 32 minutes. He had 2 points, 3 assists, 1 rebound, 2 steals. He played good defense again. Like, he was part of the reason why we were winning in the first 3 quarters, but we needed better shot making, and we didn't get that from him. But this collapse for me, getting outscored 43-22, in the fourth, to me, it shows a lack of mental toughness, a lack of organization because a team that's good, that, is up 19 points with a quarter left, you're going to get a run from the home team. Like, it's just going to happen, especially when they have players like Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. But you need to be able to withstand that, push through, and get the job done. And we didn't do that. And a lot of that is, I don't even know where to begin. Like, James Harden doing some nonsense. And when I say nonsense, I mean the same kind of main character act that I've seen in the last two games where he's not shooting well. You get Ivica Zubac on the switch against Devin Booker, and he takes a step back three with two hands closing out. There was another time where he took a transition three, no pass, plenty of time on the clock. We're up by 8. All the momentum is against us, and he's trying to be the hero. I don't want to say I don't get it, because I do get it. He just thinks he's like the greatest player to ever live. Like that's how I feel about it. You know what I mean? I've always felt this way about Harden. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Now you're starting to see it. He's not reading the room. He thinks that the step back three when he's having a terrible shooting night is more advantageous than Ivica Zubac against Devin Booker. And by the way, I want to say that we finally did make an effort to go into Zubac late in the game. We did. And he was scoring. He was producing. He missed one jump hook. And it's okay. He's entitled to miss some shots here and there too. But I don't know why it feels like every time he misses a shot, maybe because it's closer to the basket, it feels like, God damn it, Zoo. But James Harden and Kawhi get to go a combined 2 for 9 in the fourth quarter. If I'm not mistaken, I'm gonna double check that real quick. The fact of the matter is, those two have done a really poor job these last 3 games closing. They've been outplayed by every star. Luka, LeBron, and Kevin Durant in consecutive games. Kawhi Leonard and James Harden could not put together anything. A combined 1 for 9 between the two of them in the fourth quarter. 1 for 9. We were 6 for 20 in the fourth. Ivica Zubac had 10 of our 22 points. So I'm happy we went to him late, but it was a little too late. James Harden and his shot selection late was appalling. The 2 missed free throws were huge. I mean, one of them was unintentional. So the 1 missed free throw was huge because if he had made that free throw, we would have been able to tie the game instead of missing on purpose at the end. But it should have never gotten to that point. Kawhi Leonard was looking amazing. Then he's starting to brick every shot in the fourth because he's running out of legs. And then how about the most peculiar instance of the game when Ty Lue took Kawhi Leonard out of the game in the fourth quarter in a 2-point game with 2.5 minutes left. What in the world is that? And he comes out for about a minute and 36 seconds approximately of game time. He comes in with 57 seconds left. It's a 2-point game. We're still down, but we're on defense. So essentially, he plays one defensive possession. Colin Gillespie, who we were making look like Ray Allen yesterday, makes a 3, and now we're down 5, and the game is essentially over. What was up with Kawhi Leonard coming out of the game? I know I'm giving him a hard time because he was 1 for 5 in the fourth, but you don't just, because you got to think maybe your star player's due to make a shot. Was he tired? Did he ask to come out? I've still not heard a good explanation for this. Why are we pulling him out of the game? I see everyone's blaming Ty Lue for doing it, but do I think that a coach would take their best player out of a game with everything on the line when they're not trying to, collapse like that and blow a 23-point lead? He's just going to take him out of the game? Because the minutes thing was this. Kawhi played the first 8 minutes and change of the third quarter. He sat out the last 3:51 of the third, and then he was about to play the entire fourth. So that would have been essentially 20 minutes and a little bit of change of game time in the second half. So you're looking at a potential 40-minute game again. But here's the craziest part about it all. Kawhi Leonard's not going to play tonight. He's getting rested, getting load managed. So he played 18 minutes in the first half. It would have been 38 minutes. I don't get it. Is he off the minutes restriction or is he not? There's just so much mystery. You can't win this way. You can't build good habits this way. And then Norman Powell's out now. The only good habits we built were in the beginning of the season with Norman Powell. And now that's just a problem for me. It's that this particular team has not been through trials and tribulations together. It's been a team with Harden and Norman Powell in the beginning of the season. And now Harden's running out of gas, and he doesn't want to accept it. He wants to still play the exact same way. And, we're feeding the ball to Zubac late in the game, and I'm happy with it. But Kawhi Leonard's supposed to be getting us out of these situations, right? I guess. I don't know. It's game 61, and I don't know. Because it's always something new. It's always something new. It's always a new guy's injured. It's like you can't get used to anything on this team. You can't find any consistency with this team. I don't know. It's just a perfect storm of disaster. It was the most embarrassing loss of the season. I don't know, man. It just puts it in perspective. Like, I really truly don't know what to say. I hate the Phoenix Suns with a burning passion that's hotter than the sun itself. Despise them. I don't care that I'm on Locked On Clippers and I'm not on my personal channel. I hate them. I hate them with a burning passion. It's from 2006 on. They're the only team in NBA history that have beaten us in the playoffs 3 times. So yes, a lot of it's bitterness, but we're supposed to win that game, man. We're supposed to win that game. I'm happy that we finally started playing through Zubac late, but it was not enough. Chris Dunn was missing open threes. Kawhi and James Harden, 2 for 9 in the fourth quarter. Not acceptable. And it's game after game. We're seeing the same thing with those two running out of gas late in games. Such a bad loss. The worst loss of the season, bar none. Bar none. I also think the Suns were being allowed to get more physical in the fourth quarter, and they weren't calling stuff, whereas they were calling stuff on us. But that's a home-centric whistle. No excuses. No excuses at all. But yeah. Coming up, though, let's talk more about Kawhi and how he looked, maybe some of the positives of why we even gained the lead in the first place. I got to tell you a little something about open phone. Running a small business means you're wearing a lot of hats. Your personal phone becomes your business phone, and before you know it, you're juggling customer calls day and night. As your team grows, it becomes impossible to manage everything with just your personal number. That's where open phone comes in. It's the #1 business phone system designed to help you keep your work and personal life separate. For just $15 a month, you get complete transparency and visibility into everything happening with your business phone number. Open Phone works through an app on your phone or computer and integrates with tools like HubSpot and hundreds of others. It also uses AI-powered call transcripts and summaries, so you'll have a rundown of your calls and action items the second you hang up. And if you miss a call, no problem. Automated messages are sent directly to your customer, ensuring you never miss an opportunity to engage. Right now, OpenPhone is offering 20% off your first 6 months when you go to openphone.com/LockedOnNBA. That's OPENPHONE.com/LockedOnNBA for 20% off 6 months. Openphone.com/LockedOnNBA. And if you have existing numbers with another service, OpenPhone will port them over at no extra charge. That's Open Phone. All right, talking about the Clippers' worst loss of the season, 119-117 against the Phoenix Suns. We are now just 3 games above 500, 32-29. We have a 13-19 road record, which is not very good, but I ultimately put this down to the fact that our team is in a constant state of flux, in a constant state of the only time we were getting consistency, continuity was beginning of the season, and we knew that wasn't going to last because our whole team is based on if Kawhi is healthy, and we've kept this team together because of the theory of if Kawhi is healthy, what can we do? Once we get Kawhi back, we knew that we were going to have an adjustment period and have Kawhi integrated into the team, but it's not been a smooth one in any way, shape, or form, and a lot of it has to do with these minutes restrictions or these pseudo minutes restrictions, and now the injury to Norman Powell. So now when he comes back, we're going to have to reconfigure things a bit, like I talked about yesterday with Adam. It's a complete disaster. One thing else I wanted to say about the fourth quarter and about James Harden, I talked about Kawhi Leonard looking like he had no gas. Same thing against the Lakers. James Harden, it's like one thing to not have gas, but then another thing to force it completely. There were times where the Suns were double teaming Zubac in the post, Now it's our responsibility when we draw a double team, that's an advantage. That's a good thing. We need to find a way to get good shots out of that. So it's swing, 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 keep on swinging, attack a closeout, or shoot an open three. There was one time we swung it to Kawhi, who swung it to James, and then he stopped, got into an ISO. So the defense got set again. So essentially the double team was negated because James Harden stopped the ball. And then he dribbled, kicked it out to Chris Dunn for an open three. Not a bad shot, but killed the initial good look that we could have had because Zoo drew a double. Why? Because he wants to get an assist? Because he thinks that if we swing the ball, we're not going to get a good shot? Because Chris Dunn shooting an open three is not a very good shot, is it? So, and that came right before the possession where Zubac was going to get the ball against Devin Booker in the post, but he ended up shooting a step back three. I mean, how many times are we going to say this with this? I'm not even going to bother anymore, honestly. I'm just going to let you Harden stands complain in the comments because I've said it before we got him. I said it when we got him. I said it when we were winning when we had him. There was always a time where, I mentioned something about the process I wasn't a fan of, and that when it goes bad, it's going to look horrible. And people always said, last year, you waited for Harden to screw up and this and that to go off. Nah, not really. I always say my piece. You guys just don't like it. But here's the thing. When Harden's playing great, I want to praise him. And I'm still going to stand here and say that he's been our best player this year. I'm not going to deny that. Harden has been our best player. Harden has been an all-star. Harden has been the engine. We wouldn't be here without Harden. He has said all the right things. He has been a great leader. He has elevated Zoo. He has elevated Norman Powell. He's done a great job. Now it's time for him to step back. How many times I got to say it? If we're going to live and die with that step back three, we're going to do exactly the same thing that all those other teams have done. Get eliminated. It just matters when. Seriously. It just matters when. Because it's out of control. 5 for 14, 2 for 9 from 3, 9 for 11 from the foul line, 20. But here's the thing. In the first three quarters, there was a lot of good stuff from Harden, a lot of great pick and rolls with Zubac, a lot of nice dump offs, and one in the first half. 21 points, 6 rebounds, 15 assists, 2 steals, just 1 turnover. He took better care of the ball. It was looking like a great game for him. Same with Kawhi. So that brings me to Kawhi. He was looking amazing. He was looking smoother with the ball, getting into the foul line, getting into the paint, pulling over guys. He literally ripped through and slammed it down in front of a crowd. I was like, oh my God, he's back. And then he runs out of gas. And then the whole minutes thing happens again. Is he on a minutes restriction? It's like, and I know what people are going to say in the comments. No smoke for Ty Lue. No smoke for Ty Lue. You know what? If you want to listen to a podcast that's going to blame the coach for everything, that's not me. Because I actually coach. And I can tell you this right now. I would not be able to do a better job than Ty Lue. Would you in the comments? Would you? I guarantee you, if you sat in a room with Ty Lue and you talked to him about scheme, he would make you look like an idiot. You don't know more than NBA coaches. But when it comes to the late game situation of Kawhi's minutes and what that was all about, how many years have we been doing this? And I've been doing this. And there's been a shady situation with Kawhi's minutes or Paul George's minutes where we don't know if there's a minutes restriction. We don't know this and that. We don't know anything. Ty Lue needs to leave after this season, honestly, for his own sake. But you know what? He's not gonna because it's LA. He's getting paid very handsomely. He's not gonna leave. He probably likes the organization and all that. But if he wants, and he's already won a championship. He's already won multiple championships as a player. So he doesn't need to do it. But if he wants to actually go be critiqued properly, go to a team where your number one option isn't the biggest problem with the team. Because even in a game where I'm ready to come on the microphone and say, look, guys, Kawhi is almost back. He's looking good. And you know what? That still applies. Like, Kawhi is still looking good. Another game of 20-plus points. So 5 out of the last 6, we've had 20 or more points from him. It's looking better. Defense, still a little bit more to be desired, but 21 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 2 turnovers on 45% shooting, 9 for 20, but his 3-ball was not falling in this game. Just 1 for 6 from deep, 2 for 2 from the foul line. And by the way, another game where the Clippers have shot putrid from 3. We shot 52% from the field because our 2-point percentage was really good because of Zubac and Kawhi mainly, who combined for 23 for 33 from 2 between the two of them, Kawhi Leonard and Zoo, which is awesome. But our 3-point percentage was 8 for 30, 27%. Phoenix shot 51% from the field, which was exactly the same as, or 1 percentage less than us, but 41 from three, and that made the difference. We actually both shot the exact same amount from the free throw line, 23 for 27, 85.2%, and we turned the ball over less than them. The three ball and just our poor offense in the fourth were the reasons why. And then people are gonna say, what's Ty Lue's offense? Like, they don't run plays. We threw it down to Zubor. We've been asking for that. He did it. He's not telling James Harden to take step back threes with two guys flying at him when Zubac gets a switch. I can promise you that. Like, NBA offense is not as complex as everybody wants to make it seem. It's really not. It's a lot of high ball screen, a lot of isolation with spacing, maybe a little screen to get someone freed up, and then you get into an ISO. Like, it's really not crazy. Every team, for the most part, runs the same stuff. The only teams that are running distinctively different offenses are the Denver Nuggets, because they played through a high post big and cut off of him. The Golden State Warriors, which you've seen for a decade plus now at this point. The Memphis Grizzlies are doing something unique this year where they don't set as many on-ball screens, but John Morant's pissed off as a result of that. And then you've got teams like, I've heard about the Cavaliers that have been playing a little different, but I have to watch that. Because the thing about the Cavs is they play with two bigs, but they still are very pick and roll centric with Donovan and Darius Garland. So I'm not going to go that far. I got to watch their games a little bit. I just know their ball movement's good. And then OKC just has a lot of options because they have so many ball handlers and guys with size, but it's a lot of SGA isolation and pick and rolls and pick and pops. It's nothing crazy. The stagnant offense has always been a thing with James Harden teams. The offenses have been good because he's that brilliant, but they're always going to be stagnant. It's not going to be a motion team with James Harden and Kawhi. Are you out of your mind? So stop blaming Ty Lue for that stuff. Because we just blame coaches as a scapegoat because we're too afraid to blame our players. You know what I'm saying? We're tired. Clipper fans are tired. I'm looking at my tweets, my comments under my tweets. I'm looking at my comments under YouTube. And I'm going to talk to the fans tonight because this road trip was a disaster. We went 2-6. And Kawhi is looking better. Let's look at his game log. This is the most heated I've been on Locked On in a while. I got to chill. I'm going to get a call from Nick, and he's going to be like, Darian, you can't rage like that. But is this this is authentic, though. Do you want some nonsense because like I'm paid by the organization or I have friends in the organization that I'm not going to say anything mean about them? You think you can just lay an egg like that after 2 games so you lost to the Lakers and it's okay? It's not okay. It's not. We're the 9th seed right now. We may not even make the play-in. And don't even get me started if we don't make the play-in. Don't make it into the playoffs from the play-in. So Kawhi has had 5 games out of the last 6 with 20 or more. Now, I forgot what I said. Did I say he has to have 4 straight games of 25 or more? Or was it 4 straight games of 20 or more? I have to look back. Again, let me know in the comments. I keep forgetting. I think it was 4 straight of 25 or more. But I could be wrong. But the bright side is this. Even without all my nagging and whining and complaining and crying, whatever you want to say, Kawhi is looking better. That is a silver lining. And that's part of the reason why we were killing them by so much. But coming up, going to be talking about the flow of the game, some details, and, of course, where we are in the standings after this. I got to tell you a little something about BetterHelp. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Who's in your support system? We all need people to lean on, whether it's friends, family, mentors, or professionals. Even the strongest leaders and athletes know that asking for help makes them better. Therapy is one of the best ways to help build a strong support system. It's not just for tough times. It helps with setting boundaries, developing coping skills, and becoming the best version of yourself. I've seen firsthand how valuable it is to have a support system that keeps you grounded and motivated. And therapy isn't just about moments where you're in a crisis or you feel like the world is against you. It's a tool for self-improvement, stress management, and navigating life's challenges. Build your support system with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNBA today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA. All right, back here to talk about this terrible loss to the Phoenix Suns, 119-117. We got swept by the Suns this regular season. That makes me absolutely livid. I can't stand it. But let's look at the quarter-by-quarter breakdown To start the game, we had Chris Dunn on Devin Booker, Ivica Zubac on Nick Richards, and James Harden on Bradley Beal. The Suns started out two bigs with Bol and Nick Richards. Mind you, this is a Suns team that when we were killing them, Kevin Durant and Mike Budenholzer were having a little spat in the middle of a game. It looked like they were on the verge of destruction. Their team was, the fans were booing them. They were booing them in their own arena. And then they came back and turned it around. Of course, the game where the Phoenix Suns might turn their whole season around and get a new lease on life after it looked like they were the most dysfunctional team in the league is against us. Look, I'm not going to lie to you. The Suns, they kind of own us right now. The Lakers, Luka, they don't own us at all. It's the Suns that own us because they've beaten us in the playoffs, and I hate it. It pains me to say it. It pains me, but I've said it before. I just need to see the Suns lose to us in the playoffs once before I'm dead. You know who actually played a better game this time, at least offensively? Bogdanovic, which was good to see. He had 13 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 turnover on 5 for 7 shooting and 3 for 4 from 3. It's just that Bogey's not going to be the one to get us a big stop late at the end of the day. But 5 for 7 from the field and 3 for 4 from deep, that's good. You know, if we can get that kind of production from him, I'd be very happy. He was a plus 19. So I was happy with what we got from Bogey. He had 2 threes early on. The Suns, when we went up early, they went on a 10-1 run to respond. By the way, you know what really pissed me off? We made Mason Plumlee look so good. Like in the beginning of the game, Drew Eubanks was getting destroyed by Mason Plumlee, and then Eubanks gave us some good minutes when we were on our run in the third quarter where he like caught a lob and he was looking athletic. He got a block, but Mason Plumlee got 2 huge offensive rebounds in this game. Huge. And again, no rebounds, no rings. Second straight game where we didn't get a crucial rebound that resulted in a huge shot for the Suns. Like it was that Mason Plumlee tipped the ball to KD for a little push shot, and then there was another one too. It's just, you got to rebound. You've got to rebound and close possessions late in games. Mason Plumlee was hedging on the ball screens with James Harden. That's why Zubac was getting all those short roll opportunities. And nowadays, when Zubac is in that short roll and you take away the lob threat and the dunker, Zubac is putting up that floater, and his percentage on those floaters is amazing. Like, his touch is so good. Zoo was our player of the game by far. 35 points. 35 and 10. Zoo Shack. Guys, I'm telling you, like, I'm not really opposed to, like, after this season, like, just building around Zoo. Like, I don't care. I think it'll be way more fun than this, honestly. But here's the thing. If we still make the playoffs, then it would be fine. It's a fine season for what we wanted to do. It's a good season for what we wanted to do. Because then we would be able to say we hosted playoff games at Intuit, even though Kawhi missed so much of the season and all that. But we're in danger right now. And even one play-in game at Intuit would be amazing, just how loud it would be. But, like, if we lose in the play-in, like, and we still give OKC our pick this year, then, like, what was the point? Because everyone's saying it's no point of bottoming out. But, like, are people enjoying this team? Because I'm not. Because there's just nothing to look forward to for me. I guess there's people that are like, if Kawhi can be that guy and we get Norm back and we still have 21 games to do it, I guess. I just don't believe that Kawhi is going to be healthy for a full series. Like, I've seen nothing to believe that. You know what I'm saying? He's sitting out in this game. He can't play heavy minutes. Until we stop seeing shady business like that, I can't believe anything that this team does in terms of, like, the long haul and positivity. Like, I can't. I'm sorry. It's weird. It's weird. But 15 for 19 for Zoo? It's amazing. 5 for 6 on the free throw line. 35 and 10. Because do you know why I say that the whole, build around Zoo thing and all that? It's because I'm seeing the fans start to be like, blow it up, like just getting on the wagon that I've been on for 2 years. Go back to the Locked On Clippers podcast after we lost to Phoenix in 2023. I was like, let's move on. Like, I'm down to move on. But then, I do this show 5 days a week, so I got to. Do you know how frustrating it feels, by the way, to analyze this team year round, and after every single sentence when it comes to what this team's ceiling is? If Kawhi can be healthy, why don't we just start taking shots every time I say if Kawhi can be healthy? I'm just kidding. That's really harsh. I'm getting way too dark right now. There's kids that listen to this. Okay, I gotta stop. Your negativity is so off-putting, Darian. Shut up. You going to the game tonight? I'll see you there. We'll talk about the negativity. Because it's going to be go Clips tonight. That's the thing about us. We're so crazy. We're going to go back tonight after this terrible losing streak. We're 2-6. Luka Doncic in LA, and the Lakers are having they think they're going to go cruise into the championship. But we're going to go back and support these guys. That's what the Clipper fans do, man. That's probably the best fans in basketball. But let's see. What else I got? No, by the way, so I want to also say, no Norman Powell, no Derrick Jones Jr. Like, this stuff hurts. You know what I'm saying? This stuff hurts us. No Ben Simmons. Be nice to get him back. And right now we're missing some of that juice off the bench by KPJ, if I'm being honest. But again, we got rid of KPJ for playoffs, but we not even make it now. So we'll see. Jordan Miller played in this game. Let's look at his stat line. He played 10 minutes, had 2 points, and was 1 for 1, 3 rebounds, a -11. Pretty sure he didn't even play the second half. Drew Eubanks, 7 points, 4 rebounds, 1 for 4 from the field, 5 for 6 from the foul line in 11 minutes. 7 and 4, but he was a -24. Again, it was another game where all our bench players were in the negatives. We played a 9-man rotation, Jordan, Amir, Drew, and Nico, and we got a total of 25 points from them. Colin Gillespie had 10 points, and they were extremely crucial. They completely outscored our bench. By the way, end of the first quarter, that turnover that allowed Royce O'Neal to make that open three, incredibly frustrating. We were down 30-24 after the first, but the second quarter was our best one. We outscored them 41-19. I have to say, Amir Coffey, he actually shot well in this game. 13 points, 2 rebounds, 2 steals on 5 for 8 shooting, 1 for 2 from 3, and 2 for 2 from the foul line in 22 minutes. My issue with Amir, he keeps fouling three-point shooters. Stop fouling three-point shooters. That's something that should get you taken out of a game because it's a consistent theme with him. But yeah, I talked about Kawhi's jumper looking good. Bogdanovic hitting open shots. Our defense was really good. Zubac was finishing strong in the paint, as he always does. You know, we went up 11. We went up 23. I couldn't even tell what defense the Suns were playing on pick and roll. Like, they were so out of sorts in the first half. They looked like they had no fight. Stan Van Gundy was literally grilling them. Like, I have not seen a national color commentator grill an NBA team during a live broadcast in so many years. So many years. We were just killing them. But we still managed to lose somehow. So, I mean, I don't know what to say. We're back against Detroit tonight. Let's see if we can get it done. I mean, we're 9th seed right now, guys. It's do or die now. The Golden State Warriors don't seem like they're slowing down. They have a new lease on life with Jimmy Butler. They've won 8 out of their last 10 games. I don't know if we're going to catch them. I don't know. Minnesota is playing better. They've won 2 straight games. Sacramento somehow has won 4 games in a row. I haven't watched them play since they traded Fox. We're in the 9th seed. Dallas, I don't think they're going to be too bad, too much on our tails because they, lost Kyrie Irving, sadly, for the rest of the season, and Anthony Davis is going to be out indefinitely, so I don't see anything crazy happening there, but we got to be careful because if we're in the play-in in the 9th or 10th seed, all it takes is 1 loss, and then we're out, and then we're going to realize, what the hell did we do this whole season? You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Dime Dropper Pod. Subscribe to my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, for even more LA Clipper and LA sports content. I went live directly after the game last night for a really raw reaction. And of course, Locked On Clippers is free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube. Make sure you sign up for the Locked On Clippers daily newsletter. And I'll see you tonight at the game, Clipper Nation. Go Clippers. Let's bounce back. We're back home.